All right, everybody, how's it going? We have some breaking news from around the NFL. It's not really like breaking news because it happened at like 9 a.m., but I'm just getting around to covering it. I kind of wanted to form a narrative. It's going to be kind of a hot take, and I may be the only person who agrees with with the suspension he got. It was about 6 games. It was here. Let's go over all the facts of it for a second. The breaking. NFL suspends Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson 6 games for violating its personal conduct policy, which is basically what was always going to happen. If he got more than 6 games, this would have been like an unprecedented punishment for personal conduct detrimental to the league, and that's why he got 6 games. So regardless of how bad the crime he committed was, so let's move on to the next one. There's a lot of really bad takes. Here's Blake Weiner. He's a lawyer. This is someone who's on the side of me. He's responding to Scott Robinson. Calvin Ridley bet on his own team to win in a handful of parlays, which is actually illegal. It's in the contract. It is very much worse to do that because it compromises the integrity of the game. Though Deshaun Watson's crimes are worse, they have no impact on the game of football whatsoever. What Calvin Ridley did was in his contract. Even if you bet one game, you get a full game suspension. Because of the introduction to gambling into the NFL, they have to be very, very strict on this. This could mess things up. And it says with no insider info, like bullshit. He didn't have insider info. You mean to tell me he doesn't have friends on other teams? He didn't get information about players who might be hurt or not at their best. He didn't know like Russell Gage was going up against someone weak. He didn't know like matchups really well. That's the problem with players betting. It's not that they don't have the insider information. It's just they know more about the league. Like, say who's hurt, who's dealing with an injury. They could be told by their friends on other teams, which is why he got more games. You know what I mean? Like, that's why. Also, here's this. Watson faced 2 grand jury investigations, 20 plus lawsuits, an investigation by a former federal judge, and an adversarial proceeding against some of the best lawyers in the world. If your take is that Watson is somehow getting away with something, you're lost. Basically, what this says is, with everything that was thrown against Deshaun, for him to be found like getting away with it is a wrong take. And then there's this also down here. The FBI is investigating allegations against Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson for possible extortion. This is something I said from the beginning, that this felt like a hit piece, but because he wanted to leave the Texans, right? He crossed Tony Busby, who's friends with he crossed the owner of the Texans, Cal McNair, who is friends with Tony Busby, and he beat all these charges and he settled with some of the women, so whatever, which is just easier to deal with. Here's some more clown takes. Calvin Ridley gets 1 year suspension for betting on games. Yeah, that's against his contract and it ruins the league, like we explained earlier. But for Deshaun Watson, he only did conduct detrimental to the team. That is a 6-game suspension, no matter what. No matter what he did, it's 6 games, unless he killed somebody. He did nothing to hurt, like compromise the integrity of the game, which is what Calvin Ridley did, which is why he got that suspension. Here's another one from Chuck. Calvin Ridley bets on games, season suspension. DeAndre Hopkins, PEDs. Performance-enhancing drugs always get 6 games. That's a norm in the NFL. Deshaun Watson, he got 6-game suspensions because it was only conduct detrimental to the team's success or to the league, just like DeAndre Hopkins. Calvin Ridley bet on games with insider information, with possible knowledge of if teams were injured, if the receivers would have good matchups because of that, because of his friends on other teams. Sorry, I sound a little emotional, But like I've been so right about this from the beginning. It's just so annoying that people keep comparing these two. Like, why would you compare these two? What Deshaun did or allegedly did was so much worse than what Calvin Ridley did. Yes, I understand that. But what Calvin Ridley did, he compromised the integrity of the game. What Deshaun Watson did was a crime, allegedly, but it's only conduct detrimental. You know what I mean? Like what? Like what's he like? What are they gonna do? Give him a season for off the field actions? No. Like I know, and like Ridley did on the field actions. He had insider information. He used that to go gamble on games, knowing that certain matchups were good because he has friends across the league that told him if they were injured, if Russell Gage or one of the other receivers has a favorable matchup. That's why Ridley got a full game suspension. Plus, he's being made a scapegoat to tell other players, do not bet on games. You will be in bigger trouble than anybody else. Let's check out some more clown takes. That's the other one I already read. Here's another one from David Wool. 25 women accused Deshaun. It's the same thing. And he gets. You know why Bauer got through all this? Because Bauer beat the dog shit out of that woman. Someone said no, that he paid off 23 of 24 of his accusers, thereby admitting he did it. No, most people settle those kind of cases. In a court of law, this David Wool guy, he knows nothing about what he's talking about. Settling 23 of 24 of his accusers does not mean he admitted guilt. It just means he wanted to get it over with and start the NFL season. It's so goddamn stupid the way these people are comparing these things. Bauer literally beat the shit out of a woman. Like, regardless if it was consensual sex or not, he really fucked that girl up, and that's why he got that. And I know everything got thrown out, but the images and just like the look of it was really, really, really bad, dude. We all knew Bauer was going to get kicked out of the league for at least a couple years. Deshaun Watson did nothing. All he did, allegedly, was get 23 or 24 massages. We don't even know if this was like a prostitution situation, which is my guess is these are prostitutes that he hired to have sex with. And the reason that the grand jury decided not to charge them or charge anybody is because they didn't want to put them 9 women and put them on the trial as like prostitutes and charge them as prostitutes. You have to understand there's more to this than you think. It's not just about money. It's not just about the fact he's a football player. It's about the fact that what he did was only a 6-game suspension. Say he like bet on games like Calvin Ridley, he'd get a full game, he'd get a full suspension because that like messes with the integrity of the game. Deshaun Watson did not. All he did, what Calvin Ridley did was almost worse because like he could have had so much insider information on players injured on other teams, favorable matchups to bet on so he can make more money. What Deshaun Watson did wasn't good at all. But again, there is absolutely no proof he did anything wrong other than get massages and possibly pay for hookers. That's it. And all these people with these clown takes, like, also it's bad to compare these two because Calvin Ridley did nothing to nobody except bet on games, and and Deshaun Watson is accused of crimes. So like, let's not compare the two because what Calvin did was a mistake, and he should have reached out and talked to somebody about betting on games while injured, and this could have been avoided. With what Deshaun did, all we know is he got massages and then paid off a bunch of women so they dropped the charges, and then beat every single criminal case against him because there's no proof. Everything got thrown out. So I guess this is a hot take, but I'm fully in support of the 6-game suspension. I think that is well deserved for what he did, and that is right in line with what the right here. This says all. This says everything I'm trying to say. He was also by the way, it's all. I'm not gonna get into the Brady thing. The NFL hates the Patriots and Brady and gave them any reason to suspend him. The FBI is investigating allegations against Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson, possible extortion. Basically, the Tony Busby thing was so suspicious. The FBI contacted Deshaun Watson to let him know he's being extorted by these people. You have to understand that the FBI was trying to prove that Tony Busby was extorting him for money because he was trying to leave the Texans, and Cal McNair organized this whole fucking thing just to try to ruin his reputation so he couldn't play in the NFL anymore. Good old boy league, right? Yeah, he's not getting away with anything. Listen, I'll read this one more time and then I'll start to wrap this video up because we're doing a live stream later where we'll talk a lot more about this. Deshaun Watson faced 2 grand jury investigations, 20-plus lawsuits, and an investigation by a former federal judge, and an adversarial proceeding against some of the best lawyers in the world. Yeah, he was up against a challenge, and the man won and only got a 6-game suspension. So guess what? You can take your racism somewhere else. Deshaun's innocent. Not really innocent. You know what I mean? He did get the massages. And that's all I think would happen. If there was sex involved, it's because those women were probably prostitutes. And they decided not to ruin those women's life and give them a bunch of prostitution charges. So that's my hot take on this. Deshaun Watson got what he deserved. Calvin Ridley did as well. And that's because what Calvin Ridley did was compromise the integrity of the game. As I've explained, Deshaun Watson, if he would have been suspended for any more time than what am I looking for? 6 games, it would have been the most unprecedented conduct detrimental to the team's success ever. So, congrats to Deshaun Watson, and this is the outcome we always knew would happen. I feel right from the beginning. I knew as soon as I heard this, I knew to take Deshaun's side, and I was right in the long run. Can't wait to see him destroy on the Cleveland Browns. AFC North, you better get ready. This man's on a mission. All right, have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace out.